Jazz is the kind of thing where you have to be around it, you have to bring yourself to it.
But in jazz, it's a medium whereby you can be incredibly expressive and creative and play outside the boundaries of those rules from time to time.
You put them in any situation and they can make it work.
So you learn responsibility, you learn discipline, you learn to be a part of a group.
Music is something that fills your world with all kinds of really powerful experiences.
You learn the conventions and the rules, and then you break those and try to make art.
One, two, three. Well, Jazz Festival here started in 1990. Lissa May started it then.
I had gone to judge a festival at the University of Illinois. There were things for students to do in between bands, and it just was a lot nicer atmosphere than a lot of the festivals that have been at high schools. And I went back and said, hey, Don, we have to do this. The Illinois Union is really small, and they have one venue, and we have all these places we could do this. So that's kind of where it began, and can we do this, and can we do it now? And
I know the first year we had 2 or 3 schools. Lissa may have a more accurate estimate of that.
Yeah, there were 4 bands.
And so we concocted the idea that convos would present a major figure on Friday night, and then the rest of the fest would take care on Saturday.
Each band performs, and then they get a chance to have a little mini clinic after with one of the adjudicators.
All of the people that were part of the Friday night would do seminars and workshops with the kids.
We started like 10 o'clock in the morning, and we have a clinic every hour up to about 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
So the format is pretty common, and one that's just different than what we do in a lot of areas of music, where there's interaction between the students and the clinicians and the judges and the performers.
And then we close out the festival with a big finale concert with our guest artists and the Purdue Jazz Band.
The jazz educators take these players where they are, and they just try to help them progress.
Well, when Lissa left, I was really worried, because I have never worked with anybody who worked as hard as she does. And fortunately, her successor, Mo Trout, worked as much as she did, so we were lucky, actually.
She had the vision to start the Jazz Festival, and when I found out that that was going to be part of my job, when I got the job, I was very excited about it.
I got to work with Mo when he first came in and everything, so by the time I was retired from Convos, Mo had been doing it for 10 or 15 years.
Todd took over from Don. I mean, he just inherited it all, and we just kept it going. It just got huge.
Emphasis of the festival over time has been able to grow and push, yet we've stayed true to the core. And I really attribute that to this special collaboration between Purdue bands and orchestras, and specifically the jazz program.
Todd's been nothing but supportive all the way through.
I think the things that Todd's been bringing in, he's bringing in groups that are doing new things, but also groups that connect to what's going on before.
You know, there's so many, every year it just seems like it's something new and something really unique and something really, really fun.
Purdue Jazz Festival, bottom line is it's one of the greatest jazz festivals in the world. I was a participant in the Purdue Jazz Festival for several years before I actually came to Purdue. And I've watched it grow and change into an incredibly unique festival.
Over the years, we've had over 200 visiting guest artists occupy that really powerful role where they come in and inspire individuals.
Coming to the Purdue Jazz Festival, I saw some of the greatest jazz musicians of all time, from the Arturo Sandovals to
the Monk Big Band,
Tia Fuller,
Dizzy Gillespie,
Snarky Puppy,
Dave Douglas,
Michael Weiss Trio,
Aubrey Logan,
Steve Touré. To see those guys actually doing the music.
That's a transformative experience for the students to hear some professional players that they just wouldn't get a chance to do in any other way. And then to get to talk to them and ask them questions and maybe have them clinic their bands.
The background of the Purdue Jazz Festival is educational. And the draw is to come to a festival where their students can learn so much about jazz performance, jazz history.
Jazz musicians in particular, they like teaching, like mentoring, like sharing.
And I just think that's always been the spirit of jazz and jazz education.
And the professional musicians were really impressed with our kids. Again, because there's no school of music here.
Dominic Spira, who was a professor at IU, went on a tour with us. He enjoyed our students so much because they were there totally because they loved the music. He found that just really, really refreshing.
Our students here, this is what they live for. They come in for this class and it's a total buy-in, and they'll do anything you ask them to do. They don't know how hard it is or that they should be nervous about doing this. They don't. They're just excited. They get really excited about it.
30 years we've had at least 50,000 students who have been a part of this collective enterprise, and that's a huge impact.
We've got some great artists in this year. This is going to be the year of the women.
I have to say one thing that I think can make a difference and is making a difference is to see women in jazz. There are so few. I think there's a different aesthetic sometimes when you're thinking about how women think about music versus men. So I see that as being an important addition, to the future of jazz.
I think it's important for us to pay tribute. Jazz musicians always pay tribute to those who came before them. It goes without saying that I offer my special thanks to Lissa May and Don Siebold. Their bold experiment continues to bear fruit today.
Happy birthday to the Purdue Jazz Festival, and it's great to see it still going.
I just hope we can keep it going, and just try to make it better every year. That's all.
Yes, I do hope there's 30 more. I believe there will be. There's always going to be a Lissa, there's always going to be a Mo, and then there'll always be somebody like me or Todd.
30 more.